Hey, what's going on, guys? Kaufman is Alive YouTube channel. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at a new comic book, Venom War, Wolverine, #1. It's $3.99 comic book. I got the Joshua Cassara cover. Pretty cool cover. It's a variant. I liked his work on X-Men. So, definitely was digging this variant cover of this first issue of the Wolverine miniseries, part of Venom War. Really like just Joshua Cassara's like really detailed style. Looks really cool. I love all the slobber coming off the tongue here. It's a really thick, disgusting looking tongue. He's got these like pretty cool symbiote looking claws. Not the first time Wolverine's been abducted by a symbiote, but I do kind of like how the eyes of Venom go with the headpiece that Wolverine wears. It kind of fits, even though I don't really like these amalgamized characters, these mashup characters that Marvel seems to do all the time, where they take two characters, put them together. I guess with the symbiote, it kind of makes sense because the symbiote can kind of go to whoever he wants. But for me personally, whenever it's somebody other than Spider-Man, just not really too big a fan of that. So this issue is written by Tim Seeley and Tony Fleecs, which had me very interested in this book to see what they were going to be cooking up here. They're the writers on Local Man, which is one of my favorite ongoing comics right now, published by Image Comics. I've made a review of the first issue of that, so go try and find that on my channel if you're interested to see my thoughts on their work on Local Man. And Kev Walker is the artist here, and it does kind of fit with what they're doing on Local Man. This very minimalistic, simplistic style of art. Even like on this very first panel, this is actually like, in my opinion, like one of the worst panels in this whole book. But it fits with this style that they're trying to pull off here. And I almost think they did this on purpose. Like there's no like faces rendering at all on any of these people. They're just very simplistic looking figures, almost like from like the cartoon Doug or something. But then you get some of these faces on Wolverine and any of these other characters, and they're very detailed faces. Like lots of little lines to show the different emotions going on with the characters. I think it really works pretty well. It really reminds me of, there's a Frank Miller comic cover that I got here. It's Ghost Rider Wolverine Weapons of Vengeance #1, the alpha issue to this Weapons of Vengeance miniseries, crossover between Ghost Rider and Wolverine. But the artwork here of Frank Miller trying to pull off this, it's just a bizarre looking cover. Frank Miller, obviously very accomplished artist. The Dark Knight Returns, obviously, is his most famous probably comic book. Daredevil. But he's totally changed his style in his older age, in his later years here. And it's certainly a choice that he's made. He's trying to be abstract and experiment, I feel like. And, you get artists like Bill Sienkiewicz, for instance, who can draw figures, just great realistic looking figures, but then he loves to experiment with like crazy styles. So this Kev Walker artwork immediately reminded me of this Frank Miller cover, so I just wanted to point that out. Like we see Wolverine's face here. It reminds me a lot of the that style from this Frank Miller book. So, but Wolverine's in this pub, and someone's just starting stuff with him, and he's trying not to let his temper get the best of him because he knows these people. He's familiar with the owners of the bar. He doesn't want to cause a disturbance. He's a good guy at heart, right? And he gets confronted by some more patrons trying to start stuff with him, but he realizes that they're Venom symbiotes now, because this is taking place during the Venom War, just down the street from where Wolverine's trying to just get a drink. So, even though we got Wolverine, he's in the Canadian wilderness in the ongoing Wolverine series that just came out. He's over in Louisiana in the new Uncanny X-Men series, which I just did a review of yesterday of the second issue of that, so go check that out if you haven't. And here's Wolverine. He's in New York City, so I got to assume maybe timeline-wise, this takes place right before the Uncanny X-Men stuff and the ongoing Wolverine. This is maybe like post-Krakoa. This is just my headcanon, obviously. It probably really doesn't matter to the editors or anybody else where Wolverine is at any specific time, just as long as he's in every single Marvel book, right? So, no, I'm just kidding. I'm being facetious there, but there are a lot of Wolverine books going on right now. There's I think 4 miniseries plus the ongoing. Andy's in Uncanny X-Men. He's made appearances in the other X-Men book as well. So there's a funny bit in this book too where this character notices Wolverine and he goes, where is it here? He says, "Wolverine from the Avengers." That's the first thing he says. He says, "Wolverine from the Avengers," which is kind of funny in this universe when you think about how regular people view the mutants in the superheroes. Are they like celebrities? What's he and apparently some people just think of Wolverine as an Avenger, but he also says from X-Men and the X-Forces. So I really liked that little line in this book. But so Wolverine eventually gets abducted by the symbiote here, takes him over, and he starts causing some trouble in the bar. This is the bartender, and they're friends. You see the eyeball here. There's some humanity left in Wolverine. He doesn't want to do this, but he feels like the symbiote now is more powerful than ever on him. Some really bizarre looking panels. I do like the drawn in panels there, though. It looks pretty cool. We get a nice double splash page here. Motorcycle, Wolverine, symbiote, madness going on. And we start seeing flashbacks of Wolverine having a confrontation with this waitress's husband who was giving her a hard time. Wolverine just happens to be there, so he sticks up for this woman. I really like this panel of Wolverine just laying in the snow for some reason. I don't know, it just looks really good. I like all the little line work here on the clothes and his hair, the motorcycle, all the snow. It's just a really nice looking drawing there. So I feel like this comic, I can't figure out how I feel about this comic book. I think I really like it. I think I like it a lot, actually. There's a weird moment here at the end, though, so we'll get to it here. So Wolverine is confronting this bar manager. He cuts his finger off, threatening him. The guy calls him a flatlander. He said he'll gut you like a flatlander. But before he can finish his sentence, Wolverine cuts the guy's hand off. And then the woman, the wife, is begging off, have some mercy on this man. So then we're back in the present time here, and Wolverine is recovering from being taken over by the symbiote here. And they kind of treat it like Wolverine's had a bad hangover, basically. He puked his guts out. His healing factor kicked in and got rid of the symbiote. And he recognizes this woman from his past as well. And obviously she recognizes him, and so does the son. And then we have a weird moment where she's explaining to Wolverine how the zombiotes have taken over New York City just down the street. And Wolverine now, however, decides he's not going to join the battle. He says sometimes being in a place only makes it more dangerous. So I'm going to try to sit here, wait for it all to blow over. So when I first read this, I was like kind of dumbfounded. Like, this seems extremely out of character for Wolverine to not want to be the first one to jump into battle and save everybody. I started thinking more about, in the context of this story, he just got taken over by the Venom symbiote, and as the story told, it was more powerful than ever, and he's still trying to recover from being taken over by it. And in the whole previous run of Wolverine, everyone he come in contact with just is essentially murdered or just has bad fortune come onto him. It's a common theme throughout all Wolverine comics, really. And so I do kind of like this way that they're telling the story, and having Wolverine saying, I don't want anyone else to get hurt, and if I get taken over by a symbiote again, it's going to be bad news for everyone around me. So he's opting to stay out of the fight, which I think is a pretty interesting story element to this. And I wasn't expecting it. And like I said, I didn't even really, at first I didn't like it, but I've gone back and read this issue about 3 times now. And personally come to the conclusion that I do like this storyline progression in the character of Wolverine. I don't expect it to stick. I assume he's going to jump into the fight here eventually. So, but for this issue, it's a pretty good story. I did enjoy it a lot. And the artwork, I liked it. It's different, and there's a few things that look real weird. Some of these pages and the way he draws the symbiote looks pretty cartoonish, but then you get some of these really great panels, like the eyeball here. Just looks really good. So I was on the fence about this book, but I think I've got to give it a recommendation. We get the final page here, which I'm still not even sure I quite understand what's going on. I think this is the husband who Wolverine cut the hand off in earlier, and apparently he's got some symbiote action going on here. And is he gonna infect these zombiotes? Is he gonna use them against Wolverine in the next issue? But here's the thing, he's got his left hand, so I almost feel like this might be another character. But you're led to think it's the same guy because he says Flatlander, so. But he looks a little different, so again, I'm not really sure. So a bit of a mystery to end this book, which can't complain about that. So, although I wonder if the artist meant for this to be so vague, I'm not sure. So, that's Venom War Wolverine #1. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.